Listen, Akin's dead serious. Nick mentioned Andrew a lot. Who's he? Some luxury brand. Subtitle, Nick finally shares his suspenseful story. He's not here for Handam and Andrew, but for a fire that took his wife's life. Who's to blame? That Andrew. Totally gets why Nick had that nightmare last night. He could have just pulled up a chair and asked Andrew directly. But Andrew's in jail for a big crime, a real prison regular. Now that Nick realizes Andrew has gone MIA in the slammer, he thinks even the best detectives might put up their gun fishing signs. 2 agents braved the rain to the prison graveyard, like lazy farmers, but found no trace of Andrew. Suddenly, Akin has an epiphany about that thirsty lady inmate. He asks Nick if she spilled any juicy gossip while chugging down water. Nick pulls out his notebook. The lady wrote, "Run. She must know the island's secrets. Send a Nokia signal." Both of them are like deer in headlights, bombarded with info, wondering, should we even be wearing umbrellas right now? Finally, Nick insists he's not here to off Andrew. He's no murder machine, after all. As a former WW2 fighter, he bears nightmares of countless civilians. Post-war, he turns into a pacifist. Long before this, he suspected the island was a hub for brain experiments. It's like the annual Mad Scientist convention. He once investigated a student named George who, in a bid to earn pocket money, literally sent his brain to the lab. What a deal, right? Who knew that experiment would turn him into a monster? Almost scared the professor to death. Talk about a reverse student situation. In the end, he asks court for death. Go for a big bonus. When Nick finds George, he's listening to horror stories of experiments in the prison, like he just got pummeled by a monster. Again hears this and thinks, something's off from the start. Is the warden up to something? Seriously, in such a secure prison, how could Laura just vanish barefoot? Maybe she never existed. Nick's caught up in all this craziness. Just as Nick tries to argue, the warden drives up like a total plot twist. They have no choice but to follow the warden back, but changing outfits is a whole different problem. The warden calls an emergency meeting, and surprise, surprise, it's all because of the storm. Time for the 42 poor inmates and 24 dangerous folks. The warden box orders to secure all the dangerous inmates. They are one command away from becoming a prison break saga. Nick finally figures out the island has only 66 inmates. But wait, what about that 67th inmate mentioned on paper? His mind spinning with question marks. Nick asks the warden who the 67th prisoner is. The warden says he doesn't exist. Is this real? The warden shares some good news. Laura's been found. But she shows up and it's a real oops moment. She's barefoot. She cautiously explains her trip with just taking the kids to school, then heading for a swim in the back river. Sounds super low-key, right? As she talks, she mistakes Nick for her husband. Then Snap turns around and questions, "Who are you?" Talk about a character. The warden tells Nick they found Laura tossing rocks by the lighthouse. What's that? A new sport. Nick's got a headache from last night's chaos, and the warden brings him some meds, swearing there's no hidden fees. Despite his doubts, Nick takes the meds instantly. The effects kick in, and he nods off, only to dream about his wife again. When he wakes up again, the ward is in complete chaos thanks to that storm last night. It's turned into a refugee camp. Once they step outside, chaos reigns. It's a total mess. They decide to sneak into Block C, but man, who has the energy for this? On their path, they run into a guard who sees right through them and not inmates in Block C. The guard warns them about escaped inmates, dangerous as a flea market. Just as they're about to step through iron gates, a bold inmate bolts out. Let's see how quick Nick can react now. Nick jumps into action, tackling the convict like a pro soldier. Guard asks a second to help escort the inmate away, totally ignoring Nick. Major points for teamwork. Just look at that bold beauty breaking it. Up in the higher levels of the prison, the rumors check out. It's full of potential nightmare creatures. Just terrifying. But wait, Nick spots George in here. Is he some sort of sleeper agent? Subtitles. George seems to know everything, telling Nick, "You're not here for an investigation. You've fallen into this trap." They need to bolt before they are mistaken for inmates. As they dash through the woods, it's like a suspense thriller come to life. Akin drops a bomb. He found Andrew's medical records in the ward. Talk about a buffet of juicy material. Nick's in the clip, but hardly has time to think. His mind's racing with thoughts of the clues on Andrew. Determined, he thinks he must find out what's at the lighthouse. But upon reaching the other side, surprise, another cliff awaits. Nick decides to head back to find Akin, but when he returns, Akin's vanish, leaving Nick with nothing but a confused look. He spots a lit cigarette near the cliff. Cue the dramatic twist. He glimpses Akin's body down the cliff, as if his world just shattered. He can only slide down in disbelief. When he reaches the shore, the body's gone. Talk about frustration. He spots light in a queue above, climbs up, and finds an armed woman. What a surprise. Let's just hope she's not intending to take him down.